Black Temple was like kind of a mindfuck, but not really like a showstopper. In LV, there's a bunch of options tied to the combat logs. Well, they're making their own. They're making their own like UI, aren't they? So, I mean, you can all do that anyway. They're all quite simple and very same. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they should make the raids easier, but on some of the raids now, you need add-ons. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need them, but if you're like trying to be better, then add-ons come into play. Where I feel you should have the, you know the best thing I can say. You know when you're doing Nax and it's like the dance, and it takes everybody to go the right way. Like, we did Nax and we used in-game voice. You know what I mean? So, like, make something really hard if you fuck it up. You know what I mean? But don't... Like, this damage situation, like, I don't like you know, like, you can still live a mechanic. If you fail, like, on the dance, if you failed, you died. There was no fucking ways about it. But again, they do have certain levels like heroic, like normal, heroic, and like mythic. But normal, everyone blasts through because it's fucking piece of piss, and it's always the same. You can just blast through normal, and then like heroic's a bit more insane. Yeah, patterns and timing. I absolutely agree that they needed to do this. If you didn't have weak auras for bosses, you're actually making the game harder for yourself. Yeah, and you're at a disadvantage. If you're geared as fuck, though, you should be fine, but you have to earn it. But even that Nax dance, even if you was the best geared in the world, you would still die. You know what I mean? Heroic isn't much more difficult, to be fair. But that's where the line should be. Normal, in that gear section, when you're first starting out, normal gear. The only thing is, they've got mythic now, and I don't really agree with mythic gear being better than like that gear. You know what I mean? Which that comes with the catalyst though as well, because that's what makes mythic gear so good, is because you can twist it into on the catalyst to get your tier gear. You know what I mean? I don't know how I would change it. I'm talking about fucking up mechanics. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about mythics these days, but that might change with these changes. I've always liked, if you want tier gear, you go into raids, or you get it from the vault. You know what I mean? But now they've got the catalysts. I love it. I love it because it makes things easier. But it also gives the chance that you don't need to do the raid. You know what I mean? So it kind of throws it in an imbalance. Zag, how you doing? I don't mind mythic gear being higher stat budget than heroic. What I really wish would change is mythic plus gear being applicable in raid. Split them like PvP, PvE. Do you really think that? I don't know. I think that's a lot of work. Will you play the Burning Crusade when it comes out? Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I will be diving in it. Yeah, so at the minute, we're playing like hardcore. I've already got some characters on Classic Era anyway, the anniversary, so. I don't know. I think... But again, PvP is nothing now. I don't see many people doing PvP. And I wish for that to come back as an enjoyment. Not to like be like the best of the best. I actually enjoyed PvP. And I wish they would make a point system so you would, you know, have to dabble in it. Not be the best. You don't have to be the best at it. You know, all these battlegrounds, you know, you didn't really have to be the best and you still won. You know what I mean? I miss the days of going in the raid and actually being able to get an upgrade that isn't tier or tokens. Don't you like the tier? Don't you like the tier? The tier gears? I appreciate your genuine answer. Alliance or Horde? It's got to be Alliance, mate. Look at this. Look at this, Zag. Literally came today off one of my community. So, yeah, Alliance all the way, buddy, for me. I do play Horde, though. Like, I haven't got, like, a big stigma against it. What do you lot reckon? What do you lot reckon about the token system? Do you lot like the Catalyst? I like the Vault. I like the Vault. And I do like the Catalyst because it makes it easier for me. But, if in all honesty, I'd take the Catalyst out. Just so you get the tier tokens. You know what I mean? Salutations to you. Let's go, Zag. The Vault is good. I like the Vault. I like the Vault. I like the randomness of it. And, like, even though you didn't get any gear from the raid, you still have a chance. I wish I didn't have to do Mythic Plus to gear for heroic raiding. Yes. Else you're just left behind. Raid should be self-sufficient for me. Absolutely. 100% agree. Absolutely 100%. But that's what I mean about the gear. I feel like the gear from raids always should be better than the mythic gear. You know what I mean? It's a different game now. It is. I do like how they've made it easier. I do like how they've made it easier and less time to be able to get to like a sufficient gear to do things. I love that. But that's only because I work full time and I do content. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to absolutely slash it, like, with dailies constantly for 7 days. But, you know, it's time sufficient. You put the effort in, you get, like, decent rewards, you know what I mean? I used to love it when I see some random with tier shoulders or some shit. No T-Mog. I actually agree with that as well. I do like... the only thing with T-Mog, though, you're never going to win. I actually like... that's the reason I like Classic. If you see some... like, character walking around in full fucking, like, PvP gear, you know not to fuck with him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, oh, shit. And I actually like that. Like, when someone stood next to you, they're in full fucking gear, and you think, wow, like, he's good. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a big D. You know what I mean? That is what I mean. That Mythic Plus highest gear should be scaled down in raid content to normal raid level. Ooh. That is interesting. That is interesting. Or do you reckon, Cham, they should have a different like catalyst system for different bonuses to make you prevail in Mythic Plus more than the raid, and then vice versa. So in the raid you get like it empowers different abilities to be more raid sufficient. Yeah, they need to still find a way to separate the elites. That is a very good, valid point. Yes, maybe number of runs. That is a good thing, though. That is a good thing. They just need to get back to the World of Warcraft style. You know what I mean? Like they sorted PvP out, because then you earn it by playing, not by time. Yeah, I don't mind tier, but people shit blood over borrowed power, and it's literally that. Yeah, like I feel like what I just said would be good. Like have two different sets, just like they would with PvP. But you know, the gear's not insufficient when you go into like doing a raid. You know what I mean? Like it's still good, but if you want to do like mythic raid, then you need the right tier set. You know what I mean? Like it will still be viable, but you won't be doing like the end content in it, if you know what I mean. I don't want to feel like I have to run content I don't particularly enjoy to do the content I want to do. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't like the catalyst, to be honest. The old way was more fun and it felt more valuable to get gear. I do think they should keep the vault in, though. I do think they should keep the vault in, but because they've got a good system going there, like you can't get like an upgrade like tier piece unless you've done the raids. You know what I mean? I actually really like that. I just don't like the seasonal shit though. It's like battle passes and always short term. It's just a model now, and that's what it is. Do you not like the seasons? I actually like the seasons, if I'm honest. When you're competing with Mythic Plus, I do like the seasons. And now the seasons have brought in more raids. Yeah, I do believe the catalyst has to go. I mean, keep it in for the old times, but they don't even need it for the old times anymore because they're actually making it obsolete. Because if you get like the mythic set now, it unlocks everything. So it's kind of obsolete now, the catalyst. Seasons don't bother me, to be honest. Respects my time more than us having long downtime. Yes, I feel like now we have long downtime. Why is Goku on the floor? The disrespect. I've actually got a Goku up on the thing as well. Shinobi, mate. I ain't got the room. Do you know I'm a peasant, mate? This room's tiny. I haven't got the room, mate. I wish I did. I wish I had a fucking glass cabinet that I could honor him with, but I just haven't. I've got like World of Warcraft shit on the floor as well, if I'm honest with you. Justice and Valor points were fair enough. I didn't like the badges. I didn't like the badges. I didn't like the Justice badges. I hate badges. I fucking hate everything about badges. You know what I mean? I hate badges. The game is becoming too easy. I do agree with that in some terms, but again, it needs to be like a balance, because everyone that plays now, you ain't got the younger generation like playing so much. If you actually look, it's more of the older generation that are still like sticking with it. Don't get me wrong, the younger generation is still involved, but like I wouldn't be able to. My content takes fucking all my time. I probably get about 12 hours a week playing World of Warcraft actually, and I wish I had more time to play World of Warcraft, but yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but I do feel like the balance is a little better, but maybe too easy. Like, you know, when new expansions come out, like you shouldn't be able to get to top level in a matter of fucking 4 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I think they've updated it with what Cham's told me, that the 10 hours to get to max level. It's still a bit short for me, but I can dig it. You know what I mean? It's not gonna. I think everything now is about end game anyway. The cool thing is people have different opinions, and I'm sure Blizzard do what works for them in a business sense. Yeah, I do feel like the business sense doesn't always work though. I wouldn't say the game is becoming too easy. It's becoming more accessible to get into things, but top end, it's still difficult. The Valor points were more enjoyable compared to nowadays. Valor and Justice were well deserved. You might be too young to have been through it. That's true. Well, maybe. Because I've played Classic all the way through. I think there should be a deterministic way of getting loot. I don't think that should be sitting grinding dungeons all day. What would you? Doesn't the Vault get rid of that? Did you play in 2006? I'm pretty sure I did, but the only thing with me is it took me that long to level in Classic. I never really got to the top level when the other expansion came out. You know what I mean? So when you lot was fucking storming the portal, mate, I was still in the fucking Barrens, mate. You know what I mean? Like, I was still trying to get 40 gold from my mount. Mate, that mount, it took me yonks to get my mount. I never got it. I never even got it. I played it all through, and it's my POV. Then I will trust your instincts, Nova. Also, Turdo boost be in the bin to the end of the expansion. They ruined it. They ruined it. Just don't put the boost in. You know, let everyone still grind the mythic bosses and still do what they do with getting gear. That killed all of retail for me. The boost. Absolute, not even touched my paladin since. Fast rack season model now. I do think they need to bring a bit more lore. I think with the questing being so quick, they lose all of the lore. Like, I haven't followed the lore for World of Warcraft since, and the world was a much smaller place. Very much seen it as a casual game. Remember though that in 2005, WoW was the easy MMO. Do you reckon? I thought WoW was really tough at the start. The oldies are putting off the newbies. I do think they need to diverse. But again, they don't. You know, all the younger gen, they don't wanna grind. Do you really think if they dropped World of Warcraft now as in a classic state, in just as it is, I don't think you'll get much people playing, if I'm honest. Oh, compared to EverQuest, I never played EverQuest or what was the other one? There's another one. I forgot. I was grinding as fuck for one tier piece, knowing they shouldn't. I don't even want to play the game back how it was back then. What about the leveling though, Cham? Not to that extent. Like, it should never take fucking like 3 months to go up 3 levels. You know what I mean? When you got it, you felt like a legend. Yeah, it should never dampen that. I just don't think like, you imagine that with all this end game content. Fucking hell. You know what I mean? Like, I do think you still should enjoy the game, but I do also think it should be a lot longer to level. Absolutely not. I don't even want it to take longer than 12 hours played. What, to get to top level? I don't have the time anymore. If WoW like resorted back to if WoW resorted back to that time of scale, I wouldn't have the time. Imagine who big your dick would be if you did grind the game, mate. I grinded fucking classic, yeah, and I grinded it again, and I still got a small peen. So what's happening? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We have to do something here. Yeah, to take the shield off. Excuses, game isn't made for you. You're trying to put the genie back in the bowl. You're looking back at a time that no longer exists and a culture that was different. There'd be big dicks. Grind, the ultimate grind, mate. I never hit that. I never hit that, you know what I mean? Never hit that. Oh, fucking hell. Did you just run in? This is what I mean about Suramar. Run into fucking everything. But I do want them to bring the lore, like, back. You know what I mean? Like, you know when, like, Sarfang died? Or you was taking on the Lich King? That actually felt like... You know when I killed the Lich King? It literally felt like I purged fucking the real life. You know what I mean? But why should you hit that without the grind? No, I get you. I get you. I do get you. But I feel like, you know, we're changing with the times. Like, you've got so many ults now. So... Even WoW knows that even you're not gonna be playing your main once it's like got geared. You're still gonna go on an ult. You know what I mean? Do I want to go back to classic with 0 quality of life, classes with 1 button and specs completely unviable, bosses that have the complexity of making a sandwich? That's true. Yeah, when you go into like the time warping raids, you don't even have to do like anything. No, but you've got to have a balance as well, Graz. Otherwise, you're just gonna have one set of age gap. You know what I mean? It will never be as successful as it is. You know what I mean? Like, people grow up, and the game's got to grow up with it to be successful. Like, if we stayed in classic without anything getting better for quality of life, people are just gonna stop. We all just went and found the best specs online. That is true. To be fair, I didn't use a guide in when I played all the way up. It's only now recently that, because you've got too many talents now and hero talents and all that shit, I actually like you just like go with the meta, don't you? Instead. But back then, you only had like 50 talents to put in. So, do I want to go? And the add-on purge will help. I do agree with that. Well, you're still gonna get guides though, but because there's so many people and like companies now. Always has been TBC onwards. Just get to the end game. Best specs online 2 months before release. Well, you've got the beta now as well, haven't you? So people like already make like even before like all the tunings come in, they've already made the spec. You know what I mean? But back in the day, I do think they need to get back to terms with talents. They need to fucking strip this all the way back. I think classic talents was pretty bang on. You know what I mean? We had better in classic. People still Theo crafted back then. Yeah, but because I wasn't trying to be the best, I learned all my and everything I learned talent wise. Like there wasn't a talent I didn't know, and then now I couldn't tell you what all this shit is. I mean, I can symbolize some of it, but some of it, like this, Holy Aegis, armor and critical strike chance increased by 4%. I wouldn't know that was there. You know what I mean? I didn't put that there. The fucking guide did. Because now you can just import. You know what I mean? It's all fucking. There's more flexibility now in talents while staying viable than there ever was in classic. Yeah, but me personally, I actually learned my class. You know what I mean? I learned it through and through. I learned the rotation. I never checked up on a rotation on a YouTube video or anything like that. I just played the game. And I watched my DPS. That's it. And I was like, maybe I could change something. Maybe I need to go into something else. You know what I mean? Because the rotation was 2 buttons. It was more than 2 buttons, but yeah, but you also had to put them down at the same time. You know what I mean? So yes, it was very, but again, it was about 5 or 6 buttons, I would say, mainly. But I get you. I do get you. But again, they do need to like go back to the roots of that, because you're not going to have add-ons anymore. So people now have to either use single button rotation or learn your rotation. You know what I mean? And nobody's learning their rotation with this rotation because there's fucking millions of buttons to press. You can't go back to the time where you didn't know anything. It's just impossible. Yeah, no, I get that. We back. How you doing, Reese? No, I'm not saying go back, but I do think they need to reanalyze the talents and the rotations and stuff, because they're taking it away. You know what I mean? So there's not gonna be oh, can you just leave that in until we learn that? It's not gonna be that. They're fucking stripping it. You know what I mean? They're stripping it. You're not gonna have. So me personally, I use Hikili. I learnt that. I learnt my rotation off that. I probably, without that now, while I'm streaming, it will be difficult. Juice and bloat, but not no. Well, I think the bloat makes it complex, though, doesn't it? Back to what Blizzard games always were: easy to pick up, hard to master. No, and I'm for that. I want to. You know, I use Hikili, yeah, while I'm streaming. I do know the rotation as of sorts. But again, I was excited to actually get back to my spec. But how sleepy are you, Joe? Brad, how you doing, broski? Bash. How you doing? I think people here learn their class from scratch. I don't think you have enough time, though, to learn it from scratch. There's no way you're telling me that you leveled from 1 to 80 and learned everything in your class. Not a chance. You never learn all your buttons. Because there's no way you learn all your buttons in fucking like 3 hours. It's too many. Isn't due to bloat, it's due to how things interact with other things. Yeah, but you've lost that, how things interact with other things. You've lost that middle bit, the bridge. Because there's too much. There's too much going on. You know what I mean? They're adding new things, they're adding tier fucking lists, there's too many talents to go through to actually fucking, you know what I mean? Like piece together. But back then, you know, oh, I need this talent for this because that's going to empower, you know what I mean? To be fair, in Midnight, everything is a lot more intuitive with spells. It makes sense how things interact. Perfect. No, but in over the years and progress of learning. Yes, Nova. That's what I mean. That's what I mean, though. Look how easy it was for me to pick up Demon Hunter. Never played a Demon Hunter. Went in, got 2.5k with a Demon Hunter tank. You know what I mean? In, what was it, 2 weeks, maybe? 3 weeks? Because also back then, you didn't have 20 years of knowledge baggage. That's, well, I didn't have that much baggage with Paladin, if I'm honest with you. I had played a Paladin, but they changed Paladin so much that it kind of came like a new spec, like with Holy Power and fucking, and like your judgments and stuff like that. Go Affliction. That is 8. I'm still playing Fury since the beginning. Nova, you are one of the many that, like, look at me, Paladin. Fucking hell. I did love Paladin, though. I've always loved Paladin. I've just liked, but the only thing is, what made it for me was the Lich King, because the Lich King was like, you know, Paladin heavy, because we was fucking needed, because of like the Holy Power and shit. For the light, you know what I mean? I'd rather do unspeakable things to another man than play Affliction again. I mean, it depends on how much they're offering me as well. You know what I mean? What? Enhancement Shaman is the best example of it right now in live. You have so many buffs and things to track. This is what the bloat meant. Simplicity interactions between spells. That is true. I do actually feel... Oh, do you really think enhancement? I thought you was gonna... Ain't gay if it's for money, preach. I'm gonna deny that one, Brad, just purely because I don't want it like going out to the community, but it was funny. Hey, money's money at the end of the day. Money speaks, you know what I mean? Money speaks. Enhancement. I do get what you mean with like wind shear and stuff. Like you had to wait for a proc and stuff, but again, I think Elemental Shaman has more of the bridge. Because Elemental Shaman's like, I thought that was hard to grasp, if I'm honest. Just aimed at you. I realised after I said it, it would not be allowed. Mate, how long is this fucking quest line? And it's that part of the puzzle that needed to be fixed when 5 different things affect other things and you have to work out what to press in what order in 12 buttons. It's hard, yes. Ellie is a pain. And no procs suck, yes. And that's... Enhancement, no. I never had a problem with enhancement. And I played an enhancement in Burning Crusade. And then I played him in Dragonflight. It's so much fun. King, absolutely. The only thing I don't like is even if you mastered the enhancement shaman, like I did in Dragonflight, you still couldn't beat the meta. Like the shaman, like my enhancement shaman had so many good traits. I wasn't always top DPS or second, but the things I brought to the group meant it was worth, you know what I mean? But again, with me pushing, I was never going to be top.